Hello, my name is Tomasz and I'm from a board game social media called Planszowych, and it's nice to meet you in person, definitely. And I would like to ask, for a start, how do you enjoy BookGame and Krakow?
It's also nice to meet you, and thank you for the invitation for the interview. The first question is hard, because I only arrived last night in Krakow. Okay. I had a walk around the castle, which was very nice, very impressive. And it's the start of the fair, so I haven't seen much of the fair, but I have very high expectations. I've heard many good things, so I look forward.
Great. And will you be exploring the city after the fair?
I will actually stay here for a little bit longer, because a few times in the year I take a design retreat and take myself away from the office and all the operational things and just concentrate on designs. That's what I'm going to do the next days.
Oh, it sounds nice. And it's great because I have a few design questions. Okay. So you are known for simple rules, but deep decision-making games. And what is the biggest challenge while you developing the game?
The challenge is to make the perfect game, but that's not an answer. The point is, game is about fun, and there are many different styles of games. I'm a scientist, so I'm trying to reduce redundancy. Other people are storytellers, and they have lots of details in the games and lots of extra materials. That's not quite my style. And this style, as you say, expresses itself in reducing the games to the essential rules, but this doesn't mean it's simplistic. I'm trying to open up the game as a platform where the players can engage, and so with every new player, new things enter into the game on the rule set I'm giving. So mine is fewer rules, but nevertheless, that doesn't make the game simpler. It makes it sometimes very deep. The big challenge is really to find something which plays well, which is exciting for the target group, which is relevant for today's world, and also with so many new releases, which kind of stands out from the crowd.
And is there any mechanic that you are challenging more with than with others, or you are avoiding actively, for example?
I do actively avoid this because with 800 games published, the challenge is to create new things. My ambition is to create novel, innovative designs. And this means I cannot be a scientist and have a fixed methodology and say, here I start, these are the 7 steps, and then I have a new game. No, game design is an art. So what I'm trying to do is always find new entry points, something novel. Oh, I see something. Now we can produce it in this way, which wasn't possible 5 years ago. Now there's a new character license, a famous book. Now I can work on this. So it is really seeing new things, starting with something new, usually has the best chances to come out with something new.
Okay, so you are also, I think, trying to have a balance between art and maybe science. With mechanic, of course, here.
I see game design clearly as an art, but I'm a scientist, so it goes together, and mathematics and my scientific background helps me to make models, helps me intuitively to understand probabilities, statistics behind the games, which are also important. But all of this is not relevant for the game. It's just my style and my methodology. Everybody sees the world according to their glasses. And in the end, it's all about deliver a game to the players, which is fun for them. Fun, it's not mathematics, it's not calculation, it's fun, which is fun and meaningful for them.
Okay, thank you. And you've been designing games for quite some time already. So what do you think, in which way the board game market would go with the mechanic style? What do you think? What do you predict, maybe?
Yeah. If you look back, a lot of things have changed because games reflect our world. There was a time before digital where the markets were relatively isolated. Poland, Germany, USA, and Then came the communication through digital, then came the digital games. Lots of things have been influenced by this. Many new things became possible. Now we have crowdfunding. So this all influences the market. This has nothing to do with the games as such, first of all. With the games as such, I'm a great believer that things where they go are not really predictable, as long as we accept that they mirror the world and what is relevant to people. My theory is that new trends come half accidentally. There are always a few new topics and a few new things, but you don't know which one will break through. And sometimes it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. One game flies very nicely, and then all the publishers go in and say, okay, we want to do something like this as well. And so this was the roll and write, for example, pandemic, if you want, because some people start, oh yes, it's very nice, it's a new field. Everybody wanted it. Now the market is saturated, and now people look for something new. And as soon as something new flies, this becomes the new trend. Mm-hmm. So if you ask the marketing people, I'm a bit hard on them, they will always exactly explain why the last trends and so on happen. If you ask them for the next trend, they have no clue.
That's true.
And therefore, I have no clue either.
And what are you maybe excited about or concerned about in the current board game market?
I'm excited that our industry really lives from so many different angles. We are one of the industry where people come in with a love for the product. And it doesn't matter which background you bring. So I have a scientific background, other people have very different backgrounds, and that makes different games, and that makes the richness which will keep the game interesting for the future, that we are not running out of topics and themes. I said the games are a mirror of our world. Our world at the moment is relatively in chaos. It affects our games with custom tariffs being introduced and trade wars. Unnecessary, we don't need it, and essentially it makes the games more expensive for the consumer, less reachable. So there are these concerns, but essentially these concerns are not only in the games world, they are more in the overall world where madness seems to rule these days.
Thank you for this, and I have one last question. So I have many friends who are board game designers, young board game designers, so they are trying to polish their game. They're really struggling with it a little bit, or with publishing with mm-hmm. any Polish publishers. Do you have any piece of advice for them?
A few words. Firstly, understand the games and the markets. Play enough so that you are an expert on what exists. Secondly, but don't imitate, find your own style. And thirdly, getting published, there's a lot about learning, not only about designing games, but also about the publishing world. I believe a newcomer learns the most by going to small publishers, not to the global worldwide publishers. Local publishers, there you get much more in contact, speak to on the same eye level, and can learn from publishers. Don't expect your first game to be a world success. Even if you get rejected, you learn through every rejection process. As I think Edison said, every time I thought it doesn't work, I've learned something what doesn't work. And so it's a long process. Don't give up your day job, but keep trying and learning. That's the main thing.
Great. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great time at Krakow and on the fair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.